Washington, D.C., August 18, 2024, 4:12 p.m. You're watching a man in his home office. Let's call him the investor. He's in his late 50s, the kind of guy who did everything right. He was an early believer in cryptocurrency, smart enough to buy when Bitcoin was cheap, and careful enough to survive the crashes. He's a creditor for Genesis, the bankrupt crypto lender. He understands markets. He understands risk. He understands security. He is currently sitting on over 4,100 Bitcoin. That is roughly $230 million. This isn't just money. It's generational wealth. It's buy an island money. And he keeps it secure. Cold storage, two-factor authentication, complex passwords. He thinks he's built a fortress, but he forgot that every fortress has a gate, and every gate has a guard. And today the guard is him. His phone buzzes. A notification on his screen. It's the Google G logo. A security alert. Google account compromised. Unrecognized login from Moscow, Russia. Panic is a chemical reaction. It bypasses the logic centers of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, and hits the amygdala, the survival instinct. Before he can think, before he can check the IP address or pause to breathe, another notification appears, a phone call. The caller ID says Google support. He answers. The voice on the other end is perfect. It's not a robotic scammer. It's a young, professional, American male voice. Calm, urgent, but reassuring. Sir, this is Google Enterprise Security. We've detected a sophisticated state-sponsored breach on your account. They are attempting to pivot to your financial assets. We need to secure your session immediately. The man on the phone, let's call him the investor, listens. He's terrified. He follows instructions. He shares his screen. He thinks he is talking to a cybersecurity expert in Mountain View, California. What he doesn't know is that he is talking to a 20-year-old kid named Malone Lam. Malone is sitting in a rental mansion in Miami, Florida, 3,000 miles away. He's wearing designer sweatpants, drinking a Red Bull, and watching the investor's screen with a smile. Next to him is his partner, Jandil Serrano, age 21. They aren't hackers, they are social engineers, and they are about to pull off the greatest magic trick in the history of financial crime. Let's back up. You need to understand how we got here. Malone Lam isn't a computer genius. He can't code a virus to break into the Pentagon. He doesn't need to. He understands something far more valuable: human psychology. He belongs to a loose collective of digital criminals known as the comms. These are kids, mostly in their late teens and early 20s, who grew up on Discord and Telegram. They treat grand larceny like a video game. They have roles: database hackers who buy stolen info on the dark web, callers who have the gift of gab, money launderers who wash the cash. Malone is an organizer. The setup for this heist started weeks ago. They bought a database of Genesis creditors. They found the investor's name. They found his email. They found his phone number. Then an associate known only as Swag used a VPN to push a fake notification to the victim's phone. That login from Moscow, it never happened. It was a ghost, a phantom designed to create fear. Back to the call. 4:25 p.m. The investor is sharing his screen. Malone Lam is guiding him. Okay, sir, we can see the unauthorized activity. It looks like they are targeting your Gemini exchange account. I'm going to transfer you to Gemini's high net worth fraud team. Hold the line. The line clicks. A new voice comes on. It's Jandil Serrano, sitting right next to Malone. This is Gemini Security. We see the breach. Sir, your private keys are at risk. The only way to save your funds is to move them to a secure segregated wallet immediately. This is the pivoting phase. They move the victim from one authority figure to another to build credibility. They convince him to download remote desktop software, AnyDesk. They tell him it's encryption software. It's not. It gives them total control of his mouse and keyboard. The investor hesitates. Is this safe? He asks. Jandil replies smoothly. Sir, if we don't move these funds in the next 3 minutes, the hackers will drain everything. We are recording this line for federal evidence. You are safe with us. Fear wins. The investor opens his private key file. Malone Lam sees it. The investor copies the key. Malone Lam captures it. In that split second, the power shifts. The fortress has fallen. The investor thinks he is moving his money to a safety deposit box. He is actually handing it to the wolves. 4:42 p.m. Malone Lam types a command on his laptop. He executes a transaction. The investor watches his screen. He sees the balance. 4,100 Bitcoin dropped to zero. Okay, sir, Jandiel says. The funds are secured in the safety wallet. Do not access your computer for 24 hours while we scrub the malware. Thank you. The investor says, thank you for saving me. The line goes dead. In Washington, D.C., a man sits back in his chair, heart rate slowing down, believing he just dodged a bullet. In Miami, Malone Lam and Jandiel Serrano scream. They jump out of their chairs. They high-five. They just stole $230 million in 30 minutes. There was no hack, no broken code, no brute force algorithm, just a phone call and a lie. Within minutes, the 4,100 Bitcoin hits the blockchain. It enters the mempool, the waiting room for transactions. Then, click. It's confirmed. The money is gone. The investor stares at his screen. 1 minute passes, then 5. He tries to log back into his Gemini account to check the safe wallet. It's empty. He calls the real Google support. They have no record of the call. He calls the real Gemini support. They tell him he's been robbed. The blood drains from his face. $230 million. His life's work, the future of his children, vaporized. Meanwhile, 3,000 miles away, Malone Lam is already browsing the Lamborghini website. He isn't thinking about the man whose life he just destroyed. He's thinking about whether he wants the car in matte black or neon green. This is the new face of crime. It's quiet, it's digital, and it's absolutely heartless. The investor is left in a silent room with a computer that betrayed him, while the kids who stole his future are getting ready to go to the club, and the spending spree is about to begin. Los Angeles, California, August 19, 2024, 11:45 p.m., 24 hours after the heist. You are standing outside one of the most exclusive nightclubs in West Hollywood. The air smells like expensive cologne and exhaust fumes. A low rumble shakes the pavement. It's a Lamborghini Revuelto, V12 hybrid engine, 1,000 horsepower. Price tag, $1 million. The car is custom wrapped. It's matte finish, and on the side, in bold, arrogant letters, is a single word, Malone. The door scissors open. Malone Lam steps out. He's 20 years old. He's wearing a Balenciaga hoodie that costs $1,500 and sneakers that cost twice that. He walks past the line of people waiting to get in. He walks past the bouncers. He walks straight to the VIP host. I want the owner's table, and I want everything on the menu. Most people, when they steal money, try to hide it. They bury it in the backyard. They put it in offshore accounts. They lay low. Malone Lam does the opposite. He wants the world to know he won. He enters the club like a conquering king. He is surrounded by an entourage, friends, hangers-on, the comms, associates who flew in on private jets paid for with the investor's Bitcoin. The music is deafening, bass that rattles your ribcage. Malone signals the waitress, bring out the ace of spades, all of it. Within minutes, a parade of women in sparklers marches to his table. They are carrying 30 bottles of Armand de Brignac champagne, $15,000 a bottle. Malone isn't drinking it, he's spraying it. He's pouring $50,000 worth of champagne onto the floor just because he can. But that's just the warm-up. Malone reaches into a bag. It's an oversized shopping bag. He pulls out an orange box, then another, Hermès Birkin bags. These aren't just purses, they are investments. You can't just walk into a store and buy one. You have to be invited. They cost anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 each. Malone is handing them out to strangers. He gives one to a girl he met 5 minutes ago at the bar. He gives one to the DJ. He gives one to a random guy who complimented his watch. Party favors, he calls them. The bill for the night arrives at 3 a.m. It is over $500,000, $500,000, in one night. Malone pays it without blinking. He uses crypto. This isn't just a party. It's a psychological profile. Malone Lam is a Singaporean national who came to the US and got sucked into the flex culture of the crypto underground. In this world, money isn't real unless you show it off. He rents a mansion in Miami for $47,000 a month. It has a dock, a theater, a 10-car garage. He fills that garage. A Ferrari, a Porsche, the Malone Lamborghini. He buys jewelry, watches dripping in diamonds. Richard Mills worth $200,000. But here is the fatal flaw, the hubris. While he is living this life, he is documenting it.
Oh my God! $242 million! Do you know how much money that is?
Malone and his crew live on Discord. They have a server called the Comms. It's a private chat room for high-level scammers. But Malone isn't just chatting. He is screen sharing. Imagine robbing a bank and then live streaming the getaway on TikTok. That is what he is doing. He posts screenshots of the wallet balances. He posts photos of the Birkin bags. He posts videos of himself driving the Lamborghini at 150 miles per hour down the Pacific Coast Highway. He laughs about the victim. Did you hear the old guy's voice? He was thanking us while we drained him. The other users in the Discord cheer him on. Legend. They call him God, but not.
I think the original problem with this was that they did this on a Discord call. I know very rough details of this story, but I'm pretty sure they convinced they.
And $12. He thinks because he is using a VPN and a fake name, he is safe. He forgets that buying a Lamborghini requires a driver's license. He forgets that renting a $47,000 mansion requires a passport. He forgets that in the real world, you can't just delete your history. One night, in the VIP section of a Miami club, Malone is drunk. He's holding court. He's telling everyone who will listen that he's a crypto mogul. He pulls out his phone to show off his wallet balance. Someone in the booth behind him is watching. Someone notices the car outside with the name on it. Someone connects the dots. The money is flowing out fast. Millions a week. Malone is burning through the $230 million like it's infinite. He's buying loyalty. He's buying silence. He's even directing his crew to buy more Birkin bags to send to his girlfriend, trying to keep her happy while he parties on the other side of the country. He feels invincible. He's 20 years old. He owns Miami, and nobody can touch him. But the party is about to end, because while Malone is looking at the strobe lights, a man named Zach is looking at the blockchain, and Zach sees everything. September 2024. To the average person, Bitcoin is anonymous. It's magic internet money used by criminals, because it can't be traced. That is a lie. Bitcoin is the most transparent financial system ever invented. Every transaction, every movement, every fraction of a cent is recorded on a public ledger that will exist forever. It is written in neon lights, if you know how to read them. Enter ZachXBT. He is a pseudonymous blockchain sleuth, a digital detective who hunts scammers for sport. He doesn't have a badge. He doesn't have a gun. He has a laptop and an obsession with justice. Zach has been watching the Genesis creditor theft since the moment it happened. He pulls up a visualization graph. It looks like a massive spider web. In the center is the victim's wallet, 4,100 Bitcoin. Then the explosion. The funds scatter. Malone and his crew, Gene DL Serrano and the others, try to wash the money. They use a technique called peel chains. Imagine an onion. You peel off one layer, a small amount of money, and send it to an exchange to cash out. You send the rest to a new wallet. Then you peel another layer, and another. They do this thousands of times. They use mixers, services that blend dirty crypto with clean crypto to confuse the tracker. It's supposed to be untraceable. But Malone is sloppy. ZachXBT notices a pattern. One of the wallets in the chain sends a payment to a luxury car dealership in Los Angeles. Another wallet sends a payment to a high-end realtor in Miami. Another pays for a private jet charter. Zach starts cross-referencing. He looks at social media. He looks at the Discord leaks. He sees a photo of a Lamborghini with Malone on the side. He checks the dealership records. Who bought a Lamborghini Revuelto recently? He checks the real estate listings. Who rented the $47,000 mansion? The data aligns perfectly. The anonymous hacker Anne Hathaway is Malone Lam. The anonymous hacker Versace God is JNDL Serrano. They didn't just leave footprints, they left a GPS trail. Miami, Florida, September 18th, 2024, 6 a.m. The sun is rising over the Atlantic Ocean. The palm trees are swaying in the breeze. The mansion is quiet. The party ended hours ago. Inside, Malone Lam is sleeping in a bed that costs more than a Honda Civic. Outside, the street is filling up. Black SUVs, tactical gear, FBI logos. This isn't a friendly visit. This is a raid. The FBI has the dossier. They have the blockchain analysis provided by ZachXBT and other firms. They have the Discord logs where Malone bragged about the crime. The order is given. Federal agents, open up. They breach the door. Flashbangs, shouting. They find Malone in the master bedroom. The house is a museum of excess. They find the watches, Patek Philippe's, Richard Milles. They find the cash stacks of $100 bills. They find the remaining Birkin bags, and they find the devices, the laptops and phones with the wallets still logged in, the smoking guns. Malone is handcuffed. He's dragged out of the mansion past the Lamborghini with his name on it. The irony is crushing. The car he bought to prove he was a king is now the biggest piece of evidence against him. But the story gets darker. The Department of Justice doesn't just charge them with wire fraud. They look at the network. They look at the database hackers, the callers, the launderers. They look at the physical break-ins, like the time Marlon Farrow broke into a house in New Mexico while Malone tracked the victim on iCloud. They realize this isn't just a group of friends, it's an enterprise. So they drop the nuclear option. RICO, the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, the law written to take down the mafia, the law used to crush the Gambino family. The US government is saying that Malone Lam and his Discord friends are the modern mafia. Federal Detention Center. Late 2025. Malone Lam is in custody. He has pleaded not guilty, but his lawyers are scrambling. They are negotiating a plea deal. The evidence is overwhelming, but even behind bars, the hustle didn't stop. Prosecutors allege that while in jail, Malone tried to run the operation. He used contraband phones. He tried to direct associates to move the remaining stolen crypto. He tried to get them to buy more Birkin bags for his girlfriend. He couldn't let go. He was addicted to the game. The victim in D.C. got some of his money back. The FBI seized the cars, the houses, the watches, but millions are still missing. Lost in the wash, spent on champagne that was poured on the floor. Malone Lam faces over 20 years in federal prison. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be a legend, and he succeeded. He is now the main character in the story of how not to rob a bank. He proved one thing. You can steal $230 million in 15 minutes, but you can't buy common sense. And on the blockchain, you are never ever truly alone.